So today we're covering how to make insane amounts of gold as a low level character in Classic WoW, which could be specifically relevant for those of you playing on the hardcore servers. This video is also coming out at the point where some of you might be level 60 already, and some of you might be level 20, and I want to help those of you who level a little bit more casually out by giving you a couple of insane gold farming methods, where you can farm materials used for raiding and dungeons at level 60, and therefore capitalize on the inflation of gold by having those level 60s. Now this is actually a strategy I have used in the past to make between 50 and 100 gold per hour in Classic WoW while being under level 30, which is on par with, or in some cases more than people make at max level, so you can start making insane amounts of gold very early. Once again, this will greatly benefit those of you who are leveling a little bit more slowly, as well as those of you who might be starting on the hardcore servers a little bit later and feel like you need to catch up. So let's get into it. The first method that I want to discuss here is my personal favorite, surrounding fishing. For this specific method, I personally like making a druid because their Moonglade teleport will come in very handy, especially on hardcore servers, but you can do this as any other class as well, but it just gets a little bit more tricky and more dangerous. The main item you are fishing for in this method is raw nightfin snappers. This is used in fishing for nightfin soup, and as you can see here, that restores 8 mana every 5 seconds, which is really useful for healers. One note here is that when playing hardcore, aka you only have 1 life for your character, most raid setups opt to have even more healers than we actually had in OG Classic WoW, and based on having more healers, you also have less DPS in the raid, causing for longer boss fights. This means that you need more healers for overall, which by itself increases the demand for mana per 5 second stat food, as well as longer boss fight also increases the demand for mana per 5 second stat food. So hardcore servers really create the perfect opportunity to make a lot of gold from this item. Now my favorite location to farm for this is in Moonglade, because over there there are no dangerous mobs attached to it whatsoever. The only scary part is getting there. Now in Classic WoW, I used a death skip from Darkshore to Moonglade to get to Moonglade at level 20, but since hardcore servers means you cannot die, the best way to get to Moonglade would be to make a druid and get to level 10 to get that Moonglade teleport. Additionally, you actually need fishing skill in order to get raw nightfin snappers, so let's get into that as well. In order to start catching nightfin snappers, you need a minimum skill of 205. This can be altered by, for example, having 150 skill and then using lures to get the last part. Now the more skill you have, the lower chance the mob will have of actually getting away, though you need upwards of 300 skill to guarantee the fish not getting away in this case. Now what I recommend here is getting to 225 skill, which also requires you to be level 20 in order to train fishing up to that skill, and then use lures to increase your skill even further. You can buy lures from fishing vendors or even aquadynamic fish lures from the auction house if you really want that extra skill. Now personally, I've always just used the vendor lures. It is also worth noting that nightfin snappers only drop in certain times of the day, and it's kind of in the name of the item itself that it drops around the night time because nightfin snappers, but here's a quick schedule. Remember that this is based on server time, so from 6 AM until 12 PM you can fish for both nightfin and sunscale. From 12 PM until 6 PM you will only get sunscales. From 6 PM until 12 AM you will get both nightfin and sunscales, and from 12 AM until 6 AM you will only get nightfins. Now that is the comparison between nightfin and sunscale, by the way, so based on this metric, you will get the most gold per hour by getting the most nightfins between midnight and 6 AM, because you can't get any sunscales. So let's go over the plan one more time. Make a druid, level that druid up to level 20, learn teleport Moonglade, skill up fishing to 225, buy vendor lures, teleport to Moonglade, start fishing for nightfin snappers. You will make the most amount of gold per hour by fishing from midnight until 6 AM, but you can still catch them from 6 AM until 12 PM and 6 PM until midnight. But from 12 PM to 6 PM you will only get sunscales, which are pretty much worthless. Now, if you want to make even more gold from this, consider turning the raw nightfin snappers into the soup itself through cooking, as a lot of people will pay a little bit extra to just straight up get the stat food they want, rather than having to make it themselves. And for those of you who don't want to level up a druid for this specifically, you can still fish for nightfin snappers in other locations, but they are usually a little bit more higher level and involves a little bit more risk. Now, first up, you have this location in Ferrolas. This one is suitable for the Horde, as you can enter from the Thousand Needles and go to the Horde city and literally fish within that city. So even though it is a high level zone, you can go here pretty safely at a low level. For the Alliance, it's a little bit more tricky, but you have this one location in Deadwind Pass. There is one level 55 mob pathing in the blue circle shown on the map, but if you jump off the bridge as you enter Deadwind Pass and land inside the water, you can avoid this mob entirely, and there is zero risk outside of fall damage if you somehow manage to fail the jump. The only downside is that there is no way to avoid this mob on the way back up again, so you either have to outrun him, CC, sprint or something, or save your heartstone so you can heart back after fishing. The third location is suitable for both factions as you enter Western Plaguelands through the river from Hillsbrad and get to the water side of Western Plaguelands without having to encounter any of the level 50 plus zombies, and you can safely fish for nightfin snappers over here as well. Now, while we're on the topic of fishing, it is also worth mentioning firefin snappers and stone scale eel. That being said, these require an even higher fishing skill in order to start getting, and you will probably not do this one before level 35 plus, but it is still worth knowing about. So firefin snappers is used in crafting many endgame consumables such as elixirs of firepower, and also fire protection potions, so they will be in pretty high demand. Stone scale eel is also used in making, for example, Flask of the Titans, and I believe they're even used in making the, what is it called again, the Petri Flask. Personally, I like this location in Tanaris to fish for both of these. It's a pretty safe area, no red mobs around you, only neutral turtles, plus you have a vendor located at the Steam Whittle port where you can sell any junk you acquire while fishing, so it's a pretty solid location to just stand still, fish for a while, and make a lot of gold. Now, while this video only really focused on fishing, I have recently made 7 videos on how to farm gold while leveling, divided into level brackets. So video 1 covers level 1 to 20, video 2 covers 10 to 20, video 1 covers level 1 to 10, video 2 covers 10 to 20, all the way up to level 60, so if you're looking for more gold farming and gold making content, there's definitely some out there in my recent uploads. Alternatively, you can also check out my gold making guide for the classic hardcore servers, which is currently a 134 page document covering the best gold farms, investments, how to make gold with professions, and some secret gold farms you might never even have seen before. So if you're really interested in making gold, that guide is definitely worth checking out, and you can find a link to it in the video description. Upon purchasing that guide, you also get access to a private gold making community, you get future updates sent to you for free, and you can also get 50% off, aka you get it for half price, by using the code Solheim. Now, these hardcore servers offers a blank slate for gold making, and gold has the potential to become even more valuable than it has ever been before, so if you want to make as much gold as possible on these servers, definitely do check it out through the link down below. Now, that's pretty much what I have for you today. Like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the video. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.